And all of that brings us to where do we stand? How concerned should we be about the threat from this virus?
Local 12's Sydney Benter has been talking to people about their concerns and then took the concerns to an expert. She's in the newsroom now. Sydney.
Cammie, many travelers are worried after hearing that Amber Vinson flew on a commercial plane with 132 other people. But a local epidemiologist says unless she was very sick on that plane, it's not likely the other passengers are at risk, even though the people wearing protective gear caring for Ebola patients are taking precautions. They're actually the ones who are most at risk. Nan Lomelli just flew into Cincinnati for a wedding this weekend. News that the second person to contract Ebola in the U.S. traveled by plane just days ago has her concerned.
As a traveler, I've been traveling all day and I'm covering my mouth. I just don't know. People that can sneeze or touch things, it's very dangerous that way, I think.
The good news for travelers like Lomelli is that you're not likely to come into contact with the virus just by sitting on a plane next to someone with Ebola. Patrick Burke is an epidemiologist and the director of communicable diseases with the Cincinnati Health Department.
But it's generally not thought that it can be spread through casual contact. Sitting next to somebody on a bus who's not yet infectious poses very little risk to that person.
Instead, the very people who are helping patients with Ebola are most at risk. They're the ones coming into direct contact with vomit and diarrhea. Once it's outside the body, the virus can survive for 1 to 6 days.
It's not a particularly hardy virus where it will survive in the environment for a long time.
It won't survive for long, but the patients who contract the virus might not either. The fact that another person in the U.S. has the virus is concerning to health officials.
It's hard to say, that we're over the hump. I wouldn't say that.
Another thing I asked Burke about is whether animals are capable of spreading Ebola. There was concern that the first nurse to be infected, Nina Pham, that her dog could be at risk. Burke says there has never been a documented case of a dog spreading Ebola to anyone, human or not. Cammie?
All right, Sydney, thank you. And the Ohio Department of Health has activated a call center dedicated only to Ebola. The 24-hour line is to answer any of your questions about the virus, and the number to call is 866-800-1404. Local12.com now has a special section dedicated to Ebola. It has the latest information on the outbreak and response. Just look under the News tab on the homepage.